listening to the country's most informative auto show, The Automotive Reporter.
And welcome back to the second half of the Automotive Reporter. Harold Gunn along with Brent Clanton. And our guest is Ray McClellan. He is owner of Full Throttle Customs of Oxnard, California. And I know people kind of always made fun of the Oxnard, except they don't know where it is. You're on the Pacific Coast Highway, man. You're in a beautiful location, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Ventura County.
Yeah, we're about 5 minutes right from the ocean there.
Not a bad deal. Let's go back historical. Full Throttle Customs. When did you guys get started? And kind of what's the idea about the operation?
Well, originally we were an East Coast-based company, and we recently, a few years back, we made a transition into California. Because the biggest reason was, the weather back east. We used to get 9 months a year to play with the toys, and then the weather started, making it 7 months a year, then 6 months a year, and then we had the crash back in '08 with the economy, and I figured, that's perfect time to go out and enjoy some sun and some all-year-round fun.
Well, especially with some of the horsepower you're pumping out on these things you're working on, you need some dry pavement. To do this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Plus, plus you're a co-host on the Car Warriors on Speed Channel. Now, how long's that been on?
We actually had 2 seasons. They actually had canceled since Speed, the network, was sold. So they've actually canceled that show, and they're not going to continue. But we're actually pitching a couple other ideas, and one of the ones that looks like we may be running with is about building 1,000-horsepower street cars and all the fun in doing that.
Oh, ain't it? Yeah, this is something. I was looking at some of the notes on your operation. 20 years of tuning experience. And kind of the opposite word here is tuning, because you're doing some vehicles where you're getting, you're pumping up 1,000 horsepower, yet you're still getting 25 miles a gallon on the highway. How do you do that?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Through the years, the technology has been amazing. It's grown in leaps and bounds the last couple of years. And when you look at 1,000-horsepower cars, muscle cars, that kind of thing. Realistically, you and I both know that they've been around forever. Everybody's had some really fast cars that they've driven on the street, but they've got about, 8 gallons to the mile,
Right.
And
right.
with technology and computers, today you can actually dial in and have some crazy horsepower and still have it as a daily driver, and that's kind of what we specialize in. Some of the stuff that, we have really pushed for, it was about 6-7 years ago we built a car that had about 1,200 horsepower to the tires and was able to get, 26 miles to a gallon on the highway. And you could road race it, drag race it, a couple hours worth of transitioning, and it could be the ultimate street car. And it kind of put us on the map because back then everybody's conception was, well, if you want to have 1,000 horsepower, that's such a crazy horsepower number that's a drag car, that's not really a street car. And what we did is we showed people how we can actually take these cars and harness the horsepower, make them streetable, so you could drive them in downtown traffic and drive them back and forth to work. And on a weekend, throw some tires on, drop some suspension parts over, and race them and have some fun.
I got to think that was basically you're moving the sweet spot too for the kinds of automobiles that are most I would say adaptable to the kind of work that you do. I see on the website, Full Throttle Customs with a Z.com, lots of photos of some really fine-looking Mustangs, too. Is there a car that you really enjoy working on more than others?
Oh, I love American muscle. When I grew up a Chevy guy. And, back in the mid-'80s, I just got tired of getting spanked by the Mustangs there. And so I transitioned over to the Fords. And, and then I was jumped back and forth. I've had a lot of GM and Ford products and a couple Chryslers. And I've even had a Nissan 350Z at one point because I thought it was a good business move back when Fast and Furious come out to kind of maybe hit that market, So we went nuts with a SEMA project and built a twin-turbo with nitrous and, just went crazy on a 350Z. But, all in all, I'm American muscle. I love American cars. I jump back and forth. We do a lot of Ford and GM products here. But we also, we get all kinds of, hot rod, street rods, we get factory fives in here. We just recently had a Kirkham Cobra here that we threw a neighboring shop here put a Coyote motor in it out of a 2011 Mustang, and we installed cams and dialed it in, tuned it and everything. So, I mean, we see all sorts of things. We get off-road trucks and, Baja racing trucks and just all sorts of stuff. I mean, we just love anything with power and style.
I was looking at the Kirkham Cobra on your Facebook page and saw the Boss 302 you dropped in there. Just beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Had an occasion to talk to a Cobra owner a couple of weekends ago at a car show down here in Houston, and we went all through that car. And I could see what you've done with this one is absolutely fabulous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Those particular cars, it's a little hard for a 6'2" guy to feel comfortable in them. But all in all, I mean, you get in a car like that, and I mean, the hottest craze right now is taking these old cars like the 70 Camaros and the GTOs and stuff like that, and putting new technology in them. We can actually put the whole drivetrain, the complete computer system out of it. We just had one in the shop recently. It was a 70 Camaro that a local shop did a complete restoration on, and they put in the 2010 drivetrain with the computer, and they sent it over to us to do the break-in and tune and get it all dialed in. But the guy has paddle shifting and everything. I mean, but he can get 25, 26 miles to a gallon on a highway, and still the car, if you didn't pop the hood, you would never know that there was, a 2010 Camaro drivetrain in it.
Well, that's the fun part of a lot of those too, the old drop wagon. But as you get, getting back to Mustangs, that the current edition of Mustang is such a well-balanced car from the factory, as far as performance and handling. In the press feed recently, I mean, I just had the new Shelby 500. And, an absolutely amazing car just from scratch anyhow. Then you take some of these things and do the tweak. But as you said earlier, the secret is to still have this performance when you want it, but for the thing not to beat you to death in town, which is what the prior generation Viper would do. I mean, a Viper's a wonderful machine, but it's not that much fun around town. Now, of course, the new one, whole other ball game. They've done an awful lot of stuff to it, to make it more enjoyable as an everyday driver. Yet you still got that power.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, I mean, everybody today, they want that old school feel, but they also want some luxuries of, being able to drive it more than 30 miles at a time, you know. And, I mean, my personal vehicle is a GT500. I love the car. I bought it back in 2007. I had a couple of them. And this car on 91 octane gas puts 805 to the tires, and I could drive it every day, you know. I mean, there's a lot of fun.
How often do you have opportunity to rub shoulders and chew the fat with some of the auto engineers and get a feel for what they're thinking and maybe swap ideas and say, look, here's how we got this kind of performance out of this configuration? And is there room to perhaps cross-pollinate?
Yeah, well, I've attended various, measuring sessions and stuff, which are private little sessions that the manufacturers will allow you to come out when they're releasing a new vehicle, like when the new Mustang platform come out. We went and did all the measuring up in Michigan, that kind of thing. And, I've worked back and forth and talked to a couple different guys. And, when it comes down to it, if you look at all the manufacturers, not necessarily Ford or GM or all of them, they're all following this high horsepower craze and being able to pass emissions and produce a car that makes 650 horsepower. I mean, it's sounds crazy when you hear it, but when you actually get in the car and drive it and realize that if you part throttle drive this car, like if you were Sunday driving, you would never know it had that much horsepower. But as soon as you get into it, it's like, holy cow.
Yeah. Well, the Shelby I had was 640 and still getting great gas mileage. And they went out. I said, well, it's a 6-speed transmission. I'm cruising down a highway. As long as I'm not putting my foot in it, it's going to get good gas mileage.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's the key on my car because, I run 410s in it. I drag race, I road race. I love to do a lot of things. Plus, it's my daily beater. And, I have 410s in it, but I had the transmission done with a .506 gear, so, it brings the R's down when you're cruising at highway speeds, and that's what gives me the availability of making fuel economy at that point. But you step into it and, around town, horsing around, I hit the canyons here down, by PCH and everything almost every weekend. And blasting through those canyons, I probably get about 10, 12 miles to a gallon, but it's not about mile per gallon at that point. It's more about fun.
Sure it is. Done that a few times myself. I'll be out there on a test drive and I'll get back and somebody says, what kind of mileage you get? I said, don't ask.
Who cares?
Don't put me on that road,
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Mullen. hell hauling. I mean, don't put me on that unless you're going to ask me about gas mileage.
That's not the point.
That ain't happening. Also, one of my notes said, though, you travel around the country visiting other shops and tuning. I mean, what, do you carry your dyno with you or something? How do you do that?
No, well, we do lots of different things. You know, I tune for people in other countries as well, remotely via the internet. And, you know, I try to stay away from any of the canned tunes, as we call them, the email stuff that's just generic, because that's not what we do. You know, we specialize in dialing in your package. We don't do a tune for a Camaro that fits every single Camaro in the country. You know, we're not that kind of tuning place. But what I do also is travel around within the U.S., and I go to various shops. You know, guys will put together, you know, they'll get 10, 15 guys together, and I'll go there for a weekend, and we'll tune. You know, I recently, about 3 weeks ago, I come back from an East Coast trip that I was down in Georgia on Friday. Saturday I was in North Carolina. Sunday I was in Ohio. Monday I was in Pennsylvania. And it was, you know, I flew into Georgia, drove all the way up the coast. You know, some of the customers was Mike Helton, the president of NASCAR. I did a couple cars for RCR, which is Richard Childress Racing. I was up in Ohio at a local dyno shop there. We had a bunch of cars to do. So, I mean, we get around a bit, and, you know, we have a lot of fun. I mean, you get to go into other shops and meet people from all around the country and hang out with them. You know, I got up to the one in Ohio, and, you know, they made a whole big ordeal about it. We had a cookout and everything. You know, it was a good time, good people.
Well, look, you come to Houston, I buy some barbecue. You can get under the hood of my 06 SSR with the 6-liter, okay?
Well, there you go. Actually, I don't know if you did any homework, but we actually were one of the first ones to do a centrifugally supercharged SSR when it come out. We made our own kit with a ProCharger head unit, and had a lot of fun with that truck. They're cool trucks.
I absolutely love it. You betcha. Okay, so we're out here, I say in the hinterlands. I mean, we're in Houston, but we have stations, you know, all over the country, and we're on Stitcher, Smart Radio globally. So somebody's there, not in Oxnard, and they want to kind of get benefit of what you do. What kind of steps do they take?
Well, you know, basically contact us through the website. You can call us at our shop here in Oxnard, or, you know, jump on our Facebook page. I mean, there's lots of ways you can contact us and just say, hey, you know what, this is the package I'm running, or are you coming in the area? And you know, what I try to do, because I do a lot of charity as well. You know, when I go along my tuning trips, I try to stop and see. And, you know, we've done events from Kutztown, Pennsylvania, down into North Carolina, Florida, Texas. I've been up in Detroit. I mean, you know, so I mean, we do lots of different things, and I'm all over the board. So, I mean, you know, sometimes I might be coming your way, and I don't really advertise it, because my schedule is already tight. But if I'm coming your way, and I'll make a couple hours and go in a different direction and come hang out and help you get your project out in.
I like that. I tell you what,
Harold's grinning ear to ear.
Hey, I tell you what, I am too, man. Now, okay, let's let everybody know where we can find you though. Now, what's the website?
The website is fullthrottlecustoms.com, and customs is spelled with a K and a Z.
Okay, fullthrottlecustoms.com, and of course we can Facebook that, and we probably link them to our Facebook fan page, haven't we, Brent?
Oh, it's already up there. As well
Cool,
as their
thank you,
Facebook
guys.
page too. Yeah.
There you go. That's great. Just you're having too much fun. Okay.
No, there's no such thing.
Anyway, yeah, good point. Anyway, remember, friends, Full Throttle Customs, KUSTOMZ.
It's for those who live life at the red line.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And beyond. Anyway, those damn limiters. Anyway, Ray McClellan's our guest. We really appreciate your time today, Ray.
All right, appreciate you guys having me on.
Okay, pump it up, man. We really appreciate it. Okay, friends, we're going to take a break. We shall be back with more of the Automotive Reporter right after this.
Sometimes you can tell a lot about a horse by what it's named. Like its color. It might be Blackie, or Roni, or Buck. A name could have something to do with a horse's temperament, or its disposition. Like Wild Man, or Roller, or Bad Bob. Yeah, the name of a horse is sometimes the name of his game. It's kind of like driving a Ram truck. That name means something. It means you know the value of dust, sweat, and pride. Guts, glory. Ram.
Ram is a registered trademark of Chrysler Group, LLC.
When faced with the need for periodontal or implant services, the first thing you want is a good referral. I know from experience, and my dentist referred me to Dr. Charles Dyer. From the start, I was glad he did because beginning with my first appointment, through every follow-up, there were no long waits, just a warm welcome from his staff and right on in. Dr. Dyer's experienced staff makes the whole process easy, from a friendly greeting and a comfortable, relaxed atmosphere to quickly handling the paperwork and timely phone reminders of appointments. They're justly proud of being at the forefront of technology and surgical techniques, allowing them to offer a wide range of services and every procedure necessary. Dr. Dyer is consistently named one of Houston's top dentists. The office is conveniently located on Skinner Road off Highway 290 in the Cypress area. I'm more than pleased with my experience and proud to personally refer you to Dr. Charles Dyer. Online, Google Dr. Charles Dyer in Cypress or call 281-304-9911. That's 281-304-9911.
And welcome back to the Automotive Reporter Radio Show. I'm Brent Clanton along with Harold Gunn, and it's time for the Lug Nuts, brought to you by the Steamboat House.
Oh, the great Texas Steakhouse, Steamboat House. Brent and I had lunch there last week. I had the Allen Brothers Chicken Supreme, which is a roasted chicken breast with Chardonnay herb sauce and spinach mushroom stuffing served with rosemary, applewood, bacon, roasted fingerling potatoes, and grilled asparagus. It was good.
It was.
You had the salmon, didn't you?
I had the fish. It was delicious.
Yes, yes.
And the rice that it was sitting on has this, just the slightest hint of smoke going through it. It is wonderful.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
Great. And of course, they're famous for their steaks. I mean, check it out, from a 16-ounce bone-in ribeye to prime rib to pork chops to more and more and more. Check the whole thing out. I'm trying to work my way through the entire menu before I'm through. But just a great place. They're open for lunch Monday through Friday, dinner Monday through Saturday. They're on North Sam Houston Parkway or the Beltway or Beltway 8 or however what you want to call it. They are near the horse track. They're on the same side of the street as the horse track, actually, on the feeder. But exit Gessner coming or going, and just look for the big statue of Sam Houston and just point your car towards Sam and get in the parking lot, and then there you'll be. We guarantee you're going to enjoy at the Great Texas Steakhouse, Steamboat House.
Yummy. So, Lug Nuts it is.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Hannah Sabata, a 19-year-old girl, did such an efficient job of robbing the Cornerstone Bank in Waco, Nebraska, that the police were left with few clues to go on. Her getaway car turned out to be stolen, and she left no incriminating evidence at the scene. But the investigation wasn't all that tough to pursue after she posted a video bragging about her score on YouTube.
Oh, idiot.
Hannah called her video Chick Bank Robber, during which she also boasted of heisting that shiny Pontiac Grand Am and posed, holding up a big wad of cash, holding up signs explaining how she carried out her crime with Green Day tunes playing in the background. She laid out the robbery in detail. Cops got the car, the cash, and poor stupid Hannah in real quick order.
That's right. You can check out AutomotiveReporter.com for pictures, automotive reviews, and road tests. AutomotiveReporter.com it is. And when you go to AutomotiveReporter.com, just click on the Stitcher tab, and you can listen to us anywhere, anytime on your computer or your phone at Stitcher Smart Radio.
And it's free.
Yeah. Hey, what have you been driving around this week?
Neat. The 2013 Chrysler 200 Limited Convertible.
What is a limited convertible?
Well, that means there's few of them.
Oh,
it's
okay.
got the extra stuff.
Not
and
many.
It's limited,
Right, yeah.
Got the shiny wheels and all that stuff. Anyway, great-looking vehicle. Entry levels right at $30,000. Mine was a silver metallic clear coat exterior, painted black interior, color, premium leather, 3.6 liter. I'm sorry, I choked up. V6, great engine, a Super Pentastar, 6-speed automatic transmission. Rides really solid, really nice. A fabric top of some sort of space-age stuff, though, because it is super quiet. I mean,
Really?
It's like a coupe when it is up. Yeah. Really, really good. Neat little touches, auto-dimming rear-view mirror with a microphone for your Bluetooth. Power windows with one touch down. Remote start. Tinted acoustic windshield glass. That's part of why it's quiet. A power 6-way driver and front passenger seats. Heated front seats. Uconnect. 6.5-inch touch screen display, 40 gig hard drive. It's really, really loaded. The extra option wasn't a bunch. The Boston acoustic speakers, the Uconnect with the 40 gig hard drive, like I mentioned, the GPS navigation, and Sirius XM. I only added another $900. So loaded was right at 34.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful
it's
car.
a gorgeous car. 22 miles per gallon in the city, 29 on the highway. It's neat. Solid ride, quiet, good looking. You're looking for a convertible at a very good price. Check this out, the 2013 Chrysler 200 Limited Convertible.
All right. Lots of racing going on this past week or so.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Where did it go, though? I had notes.
Oh,
There it is. It says Kyle Busch. Yeah, he held Martin Truex Jr. at bay to claim his second NASCAR Sprint Cup win of the 2013 season in last Saturday's Texas Motor Speedway night race. Busch, who also won the nationwide series race at Texas last Friday, had started from the pole, dominated the first half of the race, but when his Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota's handling drifted away during the transition from evening to nighttime conditions, looked like he might have to settle for a top three finish at best, but he didn't. This weekend, they run the STP 400 at the Kansas Speedway.
Well, in the Nationwide Series, it's going to be at the Richmond International Raceway next weekend. It's going to be the Toyota Care 250.
And this weekend is the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach.
And in Formula One, Fernando Alonso gave Ferrari its first victory of the 2013 Formula One season. Has this tactic of starting on soft tires. That was the way to go in a strategy-defined Chinese Grand Prix. Kimi Räikkönen, I believe I say her name.
That's right.
Yes,
it's
Kimi
his.
Räikkönen. It's a him.
Yes.
And Lewis Hamilton, also a him, used the same strategy to fill the podium. Sebastian Vettel's tactics could only give him fourth place. He was just inches behind Hamilton in a very thrilling finish. And this weekend, they are in Bahrain for the Bahrain race.
There you go. I can see them all standing around going, let us fill the podium. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
When did it become okay to make products designed to be used once and then thrown away? When did everybody come to accept the idea that 1,000 disposable products were just as good as a single one built to last? When did quantity replace quality? At Jeep, we believe that every new Grand Cherokee that rolls off our line should last, and so we made it that way. From the hand-stitched leather on the steering wheel to the 5,400 welds in the body, every part of this car has been designed, engineered, and built to last. There are people that will think we've done more than we needed to. Some might be okay with a vehicle that's just okay. Some people might not have known if we hadn't done everything we did, but we would have known. Right now, we're building the new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and we're building it to last. That's what we believe at Jeep. The things we make us. Jeep is a registered trademark of Chrysler Group, LLC.
For nearly 60 years, General Motors has been building great cars and trucks right here in Texas at their Arlington assembly plant. In May of 2011, they built their 9 millionth vehicle in Texas. GM has always been committed to quality, and right now they are building the highest quality vehicles in their over 100-year history. This quality has been recognized by the independent surveys of J.D. Power and Associates, and their 2010 Initial Quality Survey Award winners were Chevrolet Tahoe for full-size SUV and the Cadillac Escalade for luxury SUV. The GM Arlington products swept the 2010 J.D. Power full-size SUV segment, with Tahoe winning first, Suburban second, and Yukon third. Texas benefits from General Motors by more than just great products. The Arlington plant has more than 2,000 employees that receive over $1 million in wages every day. And GM paid the state of Texas over $20 million in taxes in 2009. General Motors, building the dream for nearly 60 years in Texas. And we're back, and it's time for this week's Stupid Car Law.
That's right. In New Jersey, if you've been convicted of driving while intoxicated, you may never again apply for personalized license plates.
Oh, darn. Okay, yeah, Time for a little news. There's been a lot of speculation over what GM is going to do with Opel. Some analysts think the company should just dump the German brand, but GM thinks otherwise. Just announced a huge 4 billion euro investment in Opel through 2016. That's about $5.2 billion. Most of that investment will go toward the company's plans to introduce 23 new models.
Really?
Wow. Okay, and 13 new powertrains over the next 3 years. That's a bunch. We'll see if this effort works. That's a huge commitment by GM.
It sure is. You know, the Ford Explorer was first introduced to the American public back in 1990, and right now it's sold in about 64 different countries. Has always built in the United States, until now.
Oh?
Ford is going to start building them in Russia, of all places, with its partner Solars. Last year, Russia SUV sales accounted for 31% of the market. Pretty amazing stuff.
That's
and,
when
Lexus started making their LFA supercar, they thought, well, maybe we'll sell 20 of them in the Chinese market. But maybe because of that island dispute between China and Japan,
mine.
they only sold 2.
Oh, oops.
One of them just got into an accident. It occurred shortly after the owner left the car lot. Turns out nobody in China can repair this supercar because it's made out of carbon fiber, and it's too expensive to ship it to Japan to get it fixed. So now the dealer is trying to offload what's left of the car. Originally, LFA sold for almost $1 million, and the dealer's asking, $323,000 for the crunched up version.
Well, that's a special deal, isn't it?
I think it would be
would
be a bargain.
Okay, well, that probably ought to be recalled. Yeah, 322. Oh, boy. Anyway, but it is time for recalls. What you got?
Let's see. Nissan is recalling certain model year 2001 to 2003 Maximas, Pathfinders, and Infiniti i35s. The 02 and 03 Infiniti QX4 and the 03 Infiniti FX35 and XF45s. Possibly some of the Sentras, too. They've got a safety defect in the passenger side frontal airbag, and that could cause some problems.
Okay, join us next week, friends. We don't have any problems. We're going to take a look, though, at some of the Dodge's new, really big trucks. Remember, Automotive Reporter is brought to you by General Motors, building the dream for over 60 years in Texas.